Sharon, of course, a veteran of the show, has appeared, however, only in the doubles format. This is her first appearance in the singles format, and picks up the spare on her very first try on lane 14. So a mark for her, 2 more, of course, $25, and then $25 more for each additional consecutive mark. She's over on lane 13 and leaves herself 4 pins. Difficult try for that second consecutive mark, and she picks it up. Got the 10 pin to fall, so our champion Lynn Hayden has her work cut out. Quick reminder, the show will be continuing throughout the summer, and we'll tell you more about that as the match progresses. 9 pins down, everything but the 5 for Lynn Hayden. We will be continuing throughout the summer with both men's and women's division action. You can qualify at any Western New England. We'll miss the 9 as the wood played a big role. Qualify at any Western New England house in both men and women's division. We'll go with a 6-week each. Picks up the 9 for the 10. So don't go away. If you go away for the summer, keep in mind you'll be coming back to Let's Go Bowling candlepin action. And Lynn Hayden crosses over to lane 13 and hits the head pin and slides out only a couple of pins. 4 pins to be exact, and has a forest of wood at the end of lane 13. Went for the downed wood, didn't get a lot of action out of it. In fact, only 2 pins. Lynn carrying an 8-pin handicap advantage into this match. We'll, of course, figure that in for you and keep you up to date. So a total of 8. Lane 13 not kind to our champ, Sharon Rawson. 2 consecutive marks to start the match, and she's got a great opportunity for a 3rd consecutive mark and a $25 cash bonus. Has the 4-pin.
Sharon's going to have to be careful of this wood out here. It's still moving down here, but she would want to hit the wood right up on the nose.
Hit it towards the band, and you run the risk of having pin and ball deflected to the right. So she's going to have to be
Sharon
careful.
wants to push it right up in.
I just missed everything.
She knows she missed everything out, and shook her head.
Still has a tough shot. Still has to hit that downed pin properly. And slides it out there with a vengeance. So she doesn't pick up the $25, but she does pick up a 10. And that ball veered left on her, lane 13. Sharon, in qualifying for the singles edition, this is the 5th week of 6. Again, off the mark to the left. Fired a 144, a 127, and a 127. And picks up a very nice 10, very nice out. Lynn Hayden, a little bit off the mark in the early going. Needed that 4-pin to fall, so all she would have to worry about is the 6-10, and she got it. So now she'll go left to right. Of course, throughout the match, we'll call attention to the fact that Lynn Hayden right there is standing half off the lane. Almost more than half off, actually. Uses every single inch of approach. And on that particular shot, every single inch was too much, as there was a problem there. Going for the 10 once again, off the mark, so she didn't quite get the ball over into the groove. And she's losing opportunities. She's had spare opportunities and 10 opportunities, but she's losing pins. Crosses over to lane 13. Through 3 frames, Lynn Hayden down by 19 pins. Of course, if you subtract there, you see that novel approach. She's down by 11 if you figure in the handicap. And has her work cut out on her 3rd ball. There you see it.
It's ready to dive.
Unorthodox, to say the least, and right through the wickets. Lynn Hayden having her difficulties. 7 pins down for Sharon Rawson. If there's one thing about our champion that's been consistent, it has been her consistency. Has sometimes started a bit slowly, but through the middle frames of the first game and on through the second game has been rock solid and steady. We'll have to see if that holds true. Sharon Rawson uses the wood, but still has 2 pins remaining.
Sharon knew that that spare lead was locked in. All she had to do was hit the head pin and carried everything. That's 2 marks in a row now she's missed.
2 very makeable marks in a row also, which has to play on her mind a little bit as she has 64 pins through 5 frames. You can see almost doubling the total of her opponent, our champion, Lynn Hayden.
I think Sharon realizes Lynn is the type of bowler that's going to come back, too, though. She's seen her perform, and she knows that she wants to get a quick lead and hold it.
Well, she fires 2 half-Worcester lefts in a row.
She's not wasting any time between balls, does she, Hub? She's really throwing that thing down there. I think it's going to affect her.
I think so. She was consistent, hit the same spot 3 times in a row. Only problem was the pins were gone after the first ball. And Lynn Hayden goes to the right side, so both our bowlers struggling to find the line a little bit. Especially our champion, Lynn Hayden, who in qualifying some weeks ago bowled a run 130, 105, 111. Oh, has her work cut out for the 10. But throughout her appearances here on Let's Go Bowling has been right up in the 112, 115 area, week in, week out, and it's been more than enough to give her the championship. And another 8. Her third 8 of the match. There you see, down by 23 pins. Subtract the 8, down by 15, considering the handicap. Right on the head pin, gets the spread eagle for her trouble. We haven't seen a lot of great shot making from these 2 bowlers because they've all been scrambling to make up for very bad first balls or very ineffective first balls, so we haven't seen a lot of creative shot making, just scrambling, trying to take out as many as they can. Once again, way off the mark, very uncharacteristic.
Lynn is a little bit nervous up there again. We had mentioned it before. Strike for Sharon. Sometimes it's harder to defend your championship than it is to go at it up there.
No doubt about it. That is the 3rd mark of the match for Sharon Rawson. Big strike, and that puts her firmly in control of this match. Got the 4 horsemen, then loses the 2. Firmly in control of this match as they come up towards the halfway mark. And for Lynn Hayden, the time is now. Well, it went all around the 7 pin. Still has an opportunity for a 10. As you say, wasting no time.
Wasting no time at all. She's off to the races.
And I think it's costing her. That split second where she could get that shot down, it's costing her. Lynn Hayden with perhaps her best first ball of the match.
A very makeable spare down there. If the wood, now it's coming rolling out now. She doesn't want it out that far. She'd love to see it go way back to the 7 and 8. This is a hard spare shot.
Went from a probable to a possible in a couple of revolutions of that fallen pin. And as a result, misses the 8.
That's right. Had the wood have laid back there, it would have been very easy, but you could see out there it was a difficult shot.
Going for her 10. Needs every pin. Study the face of Lynn Hayden as she comes back, and she is searching for the answer. Down almost 30 pins through 7 frames, so figure in the handicap, she's down by about 20, and that's a huge amount of pins. Lynn Hayden needs to start stringing the marks. Strikes, spares, take your pick. She needs marks. Well, there's a good start.
Lynn's put a little bit more speed on the ball, Hub. That's what she did this last frame over here, and I think that'll have some chance.
Sharon Rawson takes out 5 pins. Has the 1, 2, 7, and then 9, 10.
Oh, get over.
And picks it up. What a pretty shot. What a pretty shot.
Love to see that back again on slow-mo.
I was just thinking the same thing, and see how that 10-pin,
right.
that 9 rather, rode out
slid right over, right. Kicked it right over.
Takes out 5 pins again, and another very makeable shot if she can be on that 2 or around that 2, and she is. So Sharon Rawson ends in a flurry, and she's not through yet. Lynn Hayden?
Lynn's not through yet either.
Everything but the 5. No, you get that feeling. Defending champs on Let's Go Bowling go down swinging, and Lynn Hayden's no exception.
It's a big spare.
Takes out that spare. Stops the bleeding, so to speak.
Big finish.
A little momentum can go a long way towards making this a competitive match. Keep in mind, it's only an 8-pin handicap difference. 4 horsemen plus the 8. Lynn taking a little more time now. I think that's to her advantage. Oh, just missed the 8-pin and another spare. It's a fine line between hurrying and being in a rhythm. Oh, and it veered to the left, and they thought she had the 8, but she misses the 8. Sharon Rawson back to put the fill in for that spare, leaves the 4 horsemen plus the 10. Going to go down as a 5. Let's get the total for you, 124 to 99. Lynn Hayden down by 25. Subtract the 8 handicap, down by 17. And we'll be back with the second game right after this tour of an outstanding Western New England Candlepin Association facility. Starting us off in our second game, Sharon Rawson. She is our leader. She is also our challenger. By 17 pins, she leads our champion, Lynn Hayden. Took a run at the high single in the first game. Came up a little bit short. That high single still belongs to Lynn Hayden, a 125 plus 12-pin handicap for a 137. She's in line for the black and white TV. Just did hold off Sharon Rawson.
I believe Sharon will go down to the right-hand side of this deadwood here, right there. Great shot.
And she has converted many, many shots this afternoon in just that fashion. Took a little bit of extra time there. We were kidding her during the break that she was bowling at a frenzied pace, but she...
Kentucky Derby pace.
Kentucky Derby pace, but she's slowed down just a little bit. Goes after that head pin, and when you hit the head pin, things happen. Beautiful spare right there. 2 consecutive marks, one more, $25. Lynn Hayden veers to the left, takes out only the 4 and the 7. She's had her problems this afternoon. A little bit to the left again of where she wanted to be. She's got the 1, the 8, the 3, and the 10. Out only the 3. And there you see she's lost even more ground. She's now down to a 25-pin disadvantage. Now she'll cross over to lane 13. Has got to start putting marks up. That ball veered back in a little bit for her. Took out 6 pins. 4, the 5, the 7, and the 8. Left the 4 and the 7. Took out the 5 and the 8. Going for a 10. She's had trouble. Yeah, still can't get the 10. Takes out 9. Sharon Rawson working on a spare. And
ball is exploding down there.
Getting
that looked like a 2-pin fill, and she ended up with 8, right? Her ball is exploding.
A lot of pin action. Chance for a 3rd consecutive mark. And she's off the mark. So the chance for the 25 bonus dollars goes by the wayside. Now a chance for a 10. Can still lengthen the lead. But she's going to bowl even in that particular frame. Through 2 frames, Lynn Hayden down 34 pins. As you see Sharon Rawson with 4 pins remaining at the end of lane 13.
5, 7, 9, 10, but the wood makes it a playable shot. She hits it to the left-hand side of the band. It's right there.
That's how you diagram them.
She's like a machine out there, Hub.
Really, really has been very interesting to watch Sharon Rawson, who, of course, qualified at Community Lanes. First appearance in the singles format. Lynn Hayden can't buy a break, leaves the 8-pin. You wonder if Sharon would have been champing at the bit in the doubles format, waiting to get back up on that lane.
Seems that way.
Sharon misses, or excuse me, Lynn misses the 8. There you see, 42 to 25. Still a 34-pin disadvantage if you figure in the 17-pin deficit that Lynn carried into this second game. Half Worcester left, and when things go bad, they go bad.
Sharon gets a big fill on her mark, Hub. She can really put the pressure on Lynn. I think Lynn can feel it right now.
Lynn has been attempting to slow the tempo just a bit, taking a little bit more time with her shots. The 1, the 7, and the 10 remain. Sharon Rawson. Well, talk about makeable spare opportunities.
It's a full hit, and she ends up with a 6-10 with wood. Here's another spare. And chalk
Wants
this
to
one
hit
up.
it on the nose, right there.
Right there, and chalk it right up.
4 marks in 5 frames. Sharon Rawson.
She's mixing the pins regardless of where she's hitting them, Hub. A lot of bowlers will ask about a working ball. We're seeing a working ball in action right in front of us here.
She may be missing the mark of where she wants to be, but as you say, the spin and the speed of the ball are combining to give her excellent pin action. 2-5-7 left, going for a spare. Now she picked off just the 2. That's the first real break from Sharon Rawson we've seen in this game. Still has a chance for a 10. Almost slid that 7 out of there. And Lynn Hayden over on lane 14. Now that's her best hit of this particular game.
I'm not going to count her out yet, Lynn.
The wheels could fall off. We've seen it happen before. And we've seen this champion right here catch fire before, too. But there's just a difference today. Just can't convert when she needs to. Easy spare opportunity. Now she goes for the 10. And even misses the 10.
Sometimes when you have playable wood like that down there, I think Lynn was deciding whether or not to actually ride the wood in or go right at the 6 pin. A lot of times this will be your downfall.
Down by 36 pins in this game. 53 pins overall has the 4 horsemen plus the 9. This is all but out of reach, barring some untoward circumstances.
Should have to start striking, yeah.
And Sharon would have to take a trip south, so to speak. Just not keeping contact with those kinds of shots. That's about the worst ball that we've seen from Sharon in quite a while. 4 horsemen plus the 8. The way she's been firing, though, and producing shots, who knows? Everything but the 8 pin. This game's slowing down compared to the first. I think both bowlers, as we get towards the end, realizing perhaps just what's at stake and thinking for that extra split
Where
second.
am I? What am I doing?
That's right. Wait a second. Where'd the first game go? Takes out 6 pins. Leaves 6, rather. Takes out 4. Now takes out the 7 to add to the total. 5 left. Sharon Rawson in control of this match. Looks as if she'll go into our 6th and final week as our champion, unless
Lynn has to strike here to have any chance at all.
4 horsemen and the 9. That's not going to do it.
Now that 9 pin usually is the hardest pin to go on a shot like this. It just stands right there.
Well, even when you're on it, you can't seem to get it.
9 pin went out. 4-7 stayed up.
Looked as if she hit that about where she wanted to. But even physics conspiring to go against Lynn Hayden today, and she picks up
That's the kind of ball she's got to throw, Hub. She has been taking a little bit off the ball. The last ball, she seemed to put a little bit more speed on it.
There you see, 95 to 58. 37 pin advantage. Add the 17 that we had, you got a 54 pin difference. 6 and the 9 remain for Lynn Hayden. And this sums up, as you say, the wood still rolling. This sums up the whole match. Her inability to convert shots like this.
She's got a difficult one laying here right now. She's got to decide whether or not she can slide by it or hit the nose of the wood.
Hit the nose of the wood to get the job done. There's a spare. 4 horsemen, and that's all. Got a break on the 9. Going to go for the picket fence effect, and took out only the 4 and the 7. The 1 and the 2 stand in there strong. She'll have to go back for a 3rd trip. And takes him out of there for a 10. So even when the shots haven't really fallen for Sharon, she's worked hard, been patient, and pulls a 10. 111. She's got a shot at the high single, depending upon how she finishes. Now 4 horsemen, they leave, the 9 by itself. And there you see that mixing ball. Looked as if she was going to have 5 pins left. Instead, she's only got 1. And we'll have just a momentary delay.
We have
Well,
a piece of unplayable wood.
Ended up too far out, so that piece of wood goes, but the other one that's fallen still within the realm of playability, so that one stays.
She'll use that as a guide and bring the 8-pin right in.
And picks up another spare, that hand for our lob line judge, who did a little groundskeeping there. A 1, an 8, and a 9 for Lynn Hayden. Been a tough afternoon for her. And gets a break. Second spare in a row, so even though this match is out of her reach, $25 bonus money is within her reach. That would be a nice going away present. Takes out 7 pins on the fill. Lynn will go for the 10. Sharon Rawson coming up. All she needs is 8 pins to have the high single and take away a black and white TV to go with that first week championship. Well, there we have the final score. 124-102, 22-pin difference in this game, 39-pin difference in the match. We have a new champion, Sharon Rawson, and we'll make the presentations right after this. Well, we've said it so many times here on Let's Go Bowling. It is very difficult to hold on to that championship, perhaps more difficult than to actually attain it in the first place. I think Lynn Hayden has been a very fine champion for us, but found that out this afternoon, just unable to keep up with Sharon Rawson. However, Lynn, an outstanding job throughout the course of your appearance here on the show, and you still have that high single going, so we're not through yet. We still might be able to give you that black and white TV. Thanks very much. Lynn Hayden, a great champion here on Let's Go Bowling, and here is our new champion, Sharon Rawson. There's your prize money. An outstanding job. You were a machine. Didn't take much time between shots there.
Always bowl fast.
Always bowl fast. Well, it was the key to victory today, the key to getting this plaque, and of course, you'll be back next week to defend that championship in the 6th and final week of the series. Sharon, thanks very much. Sharon Rawson, and we'll be back with more outstanding bowling next week. But for now, that's all the time we have. So for What's the Word? Let's go bowling. See you next week.